funniest thing about this is he's not trying to be funny at all. He is mad. He hates what Drake stands for, like the fundamental essence of his being. He cannot stand. He didn't just call him a deadbeat dad. He said, you know nothing about teaching morality and discipline and honor. Like, it's just like, oh my God. Like, can you imagine being in the studio while he was doing this?
And that's like, I'm just sorry, that's just new to me. What happened to when you was mad at somebody, you just told everybody the rapper's first name? What happened to that beef? This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. That was enough. The crowd went, oh, it's government name. Now we're getting into deep. We don't know if Drake ain't beat it. Now Drake, who tweeted that? Somebody tweeted that Drake gonna have to have that baby strapped on his chest with a baby on for the rest of his career.
Like a koala.
To prove that he is a good father. And that's where I'm like, yo, man, this is some stuff y'all just need to sit down and talk about on a private jet flight to each other, man. Like you need a prop Joe. They need a prop Joe to set up a parlay like Omar and String at the fountain. Do 2 laps around the fountain and squash this.
We need this. We need this. Like I said something on Twitter where people said something about not understanding where Kendrick was coming from. And I was like, y'all didn't listen to enough Pimp C. And they tried to make the point that Pimp C like Drake. I'm like, no, you're not understanding what I mean when I bring up Pimp C. Pimp C, if he ain't like what you stand for, then we gonna have a problem. And what I find to be most fascinating about this whole Drake thing is it is very clear that through this is a 15-year run with Drake. So Far Gone came out in 2009. This 15-year run, lots of people have been saying, I ain't really about what this dude stands for. But all the cats in the game allowed it to happen. All these dudes we talk about have done songs with him before, right? All have done something. I'm saying it's business. It's fine. But my point is, throughout this whole run, these dudes have not respected what he stood for. And somewhere along the way, they just decided that they had enough. And I am here for people, for whatever reason, deciding we losing grip of what garbage means, as Black Thought said. And if this is the beginning of us standing on some principles and getting some of these suckers out of here, I got suckers in my game, you got suckers in your game. Maybe this is just what we need to start doing to get these suckers out of here.
Even if they ganging up, Bo, even if they are...
They not ganging up.
I don't like the memes. I don't like the social media back and forth, but I'm also a purist. Go in the booth. And that's where this is no longer about lyrics. This is joning at the cafeteria table. This is at the flagpole. This is, I ain't gonna say his name, but this is when dude got cracked on so hard on the bus and then they started fighting on the school bus on the way home. So it's like this idea of trying to win a popularity contest. I just want people to, like Fat Joe. Could you imagine Fat Joe and 50 Cent when they was beefing? Fat Joe on Black Planet talking about 50. No, Fat Joe went and got in the booth and said, my 44 caliber gun will murder you. Tupac, the only person who really went this deep, like on some investigative reporting in that era, I would say is Tupac, when he, and not even as a bar, just casually inquired to one of the members of Mobb Deep, don't one of y'all got sickle cell?
Yo, that was the most, that's the moment on that song.
You're violating HIPAA laws. It's too far. You ain't got to get it.
I'll give you a seizure, a heart attack.
He didn't even know what sickle cell does. He just naming symptoms of any terminal condition.
Didn't even know which one. Rest in peace, the Prodigy. But he didn't even know which one of them it was. He was just like, one of y'all got sickle cell.
Yeah, and even back then, that felt like across the line. Like it was like, all right, you got plastic surgery and you have fake abs. What's next? You gonna name the surgeon's name and the address of the clinic? Because I'm sure you have that information. So it's. I just think that the dirt that rich people have on other rich people is not as socially damning as some of the stuff that cats was saying about each other, way back in the day. You don't care about your kids and all of that. It's like, okay, that's cool. But man, just what happened to, that's why Had sex with your wife, you fat bastard.
Yeah, but,
What happened to that?
But see, what I liked about this and what I thought was dope about this is he didn't have to be no investigative journalist. He didn't have to do that, right? Like we know we need to dig all this. That man just basically said, you are substandard as a man, as a father, and as a leader. You are not enough. You need to, both Pusha and Kendrick both told that man to improve himself. They both told that man that he needs to get on his grind and step up to what his real responsibilities are. And all of us, Rick Ross the same way, all of us know that you ain't this, because this is what Drake never learned. And I'm curious to know your thoughts about this, because I feel like you and I can come from similar places on this, right? You and I both grew up around, I can't think of the appropriate way to put this in public, but we grew up with access to the people, of certain sets of people. But, you know, your daddy was a somebody. My parents were some somebodies, right? We were of a slightly different class stratus than a lot of the other African-American gentlemen that we were around.
Civil rights journalists. Like my pops took me backstage to hang out with Jesse Jackson during the presidential primary in 84.
Yes.
Like that type.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
Yes. The other kids knew that you were not them and they were not you. Like we were not coming from the same place, but you learned how to navigate in that this is who I am. This is who you are. We got enough common ground, but how to be myself in a room of people who don't come from the same place that I come from. Drake apparently never quite figured out how to pull that off without the people in the room thinking that he's a bit of a sucker. And you would have thought by now they would have got over this, but no, apparently this has just been a prevailing theme for the entirety of that man's everything.
But Drake never had to work that muscle because he came in baptized under Young Money. So
yes,
by simply being on stage with Weezy and Nicki, you are black enough just off of that. It wasn't until, like, I would imagine all these questions didn't come up until the boy went solo, but I don't know how you come back from this. I don't know what you say to get the respect of your peers back. Because I think that's what you're talking about, is the idea that
what you mean back?
The people he wanted approval from, even though right above it, they didn't respect him.
It's clear. It's clear it ain't no back. It's clear that they never possessed. That has to hurt. You imagine after all these years finding out that they all hate you?
We're not going to act like Stay Scheming. Like Drake didn't have bars on Stay Scheming. He went at Common, come on, something. He didn't have a little respect.
I'm not saying he didn't have bars. I'm saying these dudes clearly did not respect him. Or if they did respect him, when did they stop? What happened? Like, what did Drake do? And then suddenly they didn't respect him no more.
I just think that you bring back more of these hip hop awards and let these rappers get back to fighting, bro. And I think that's where you get a little bit of respect. You get scrappy a little bit. If Drake got stabbed, then maybe, you know, like you need a scuffle. He need a good on-camera scuffle with somebody that the streets respect. He ain't got to win. You just got to stand your ground.
But he's got to start it because can't nobody get no respect by scrapping it out with Drake. That was the problem that Meek had. Meek got into a battle with Drake and none of his tools worked. Because like, oh yeah, you gonna beat Drake up. Okay. Right? Like none of the tools that Meek would have used under any circumstance worked. And he got memed to death. He lost the battle by memes.
If the battle gonna keep going, then it's only gonna get more personal. I'm just saying that I find it hard to relate to insults like your mansion ain't big enough.
I agree.
Or your private jet was made in 1978 and hasn't passed the Boeing inspections, and you should look out for that considering what's happening with Boeing airplanes right now, my friend. I care about you. Like, that's funny, but it's not on EIHT or should I continue? You left out the G because the G ain't in you. DJ Quick.
Yeah, that was a line, boy. That was a bar. That was a bar. The G8.
You know what somebody pointed out?
That's such a bar that there was no coming back because there's no reason for them to take the G out.
You know what somebody pointed out to me about No More Play in GA? And this is why I have No More Play in GA as one of my top 3 diss records of all time. Pastor Troy never really says anything about Master P or his crew in the song. Like, it's the ultimate David Goliath. And even Troy came out like years later and was like, yeah, we was just trying to make some noise. Master P didn't really do anything to be that crazy for me to justify the song. And I'm like, it still was like it. I would put No More Playing GA right up there with 50 Cent How to Rob. It's just flagrant for no reason, unprovoked, just chaos.
Yo, How to Rob. We don't talk about How to Rob nearly enough. And for you youngsters, if you've never heard How to Rob, look it up on the YouTube. How to Rob is hilarious. I love How to Rob. And I don't know, I don't think at that point in my life, I properly understood the sociological dynamics of all these rappers and how they interact with each other. And while I found it to be very funny, this idea that he would rob all these rappers, they actually took this very seriously and did not see the joke at all. He took aim at the entire industry from coast to coast and said he would rob them, and none of them were here for it.
Oh, not only did he say he would rob them, he told Puffy, and I have this in my notes app, I will kidnap little Kim, put her in the trunk, and hold her for ransom and make you pay me, Puffy. 50 dissed the brat. Jermaine Dupri ain't done nothing to nobody ever. And if Jermaine Dupri don't do diss record, he called out Jermaine Dupri, the brat, damn near crisscross. It was like 30 rappers he mentioned in that song for no reason.
He said,
and it's beautiful.
He said he was going to rob Timberland and Missy and said, you give me the money, you put the hot dog down.
It's top two. How to Rob.
What a bar.
It's top two. I put it over No More Playing GA only because How to Rob is David versus all the Goliaths. And it's unprovoked. Like unprovoked diss tracks are just way better than, oh, we got beef because you shot at me, this, that, and the third. He just woke up one day and was like, yeah, I'm going to just disrespect everybody in the industry. And that was at a time in hip hop where if your throne was challenged, you had to respect the challenger, whether or not they had a record deal or not.
So here's where I'm going to offer, and you don't have to take this. I was about to say a clarification, but it's not my place to clarify what you're saying. But I ask you to hear me, and I think this may land with you.
Okay.
I don't think it's that we need a David and Goliath in the beef as much as it is we just need more Davids. Because David versus David is pretty compelling, right? Like a couple of cats that we don't know nothing about going at it. T.I. and Lil Flip, for example. Though I have to admit, I don't know anything that Lil Flip really made happen in that. I just know T.I. was cleaning his ass out. T.I. and Shawty Low.
Yeah, regionals. T.I. went to Lil Flip's hood and walked around his hood and shot a video and put it out on YouTube. Like, I'm in your hood, where you at?
He went to Shawty Low's project. He put a chair in front of the Bowen Home sign, shot the video there, got your neighbors dancing, and then did his dance. R.I.P. Shawty Low.
They made up, though, before Shawty Low passed.
Yes. The other level of that, though, was also that T.I. was much younger than him. Like, this was a serious level of disrespect.
Yes. Like that. I think that Luke going at, somebody pointed out Cowards in Compton, where Luke replied to Dre Day. It's a terrible record. But you have to give Luke credit for just swinging back. Because everybody in Miami musically, they mind their business. We're not bothering on it. We're down here doing booty music. Oh, wait, what's that, Dr. Dre? You said something? Okay. Like, you have to reply. You have to hit back. If you get more Davids and Davis, the problem is now you get into the dynamics of the record industry where you need more Davis that actually exists and get regional play and have an opportunity. Right. Part of why Shawty Low and T.I. and even Master P and No Limit versus UNLV, or even the Cash Money stuff, because those regions support their local artists. So you have a chance to blow by beefing with each other, locally. Who did 3-6 beef with? I know 3-6 got into it with Bone Thugs.
In Bone, and then everybody in Memphis just beefed with everybody in Memphis. Skinny Pimp did the Lil Arm dance about DJ Paul, which, harsh.
Was that the name of the song? Or was it just the dance?
No, I think Lit. I think it's the name of the Lit All Dance.
That's right up there with Sickle Cell, bro. You don't do that. See that?
OVO 40 hunched over like he 80. Tick, tick, tick. How much time he got there for you? Sick. KRS-One, they had the line about getting red alert out the crack house. Like,
the beef that was the weirdest that I just never really got behind and just could never really get into for whatever reason was KRS versus Nelly.
Yo, and by the way, speaking of the obligation to swing back, Nelly took a swing at KRS-One because he felt obligated to. And KRS-One had to do something about Nelly. Like, that was both of y'all had to be looking at each other like, what are we doing right now?
And that's what I'm talking about. KRS-One is where you are in that, what is this going down, baby, Range Rover? What happened to lyrics? And then Nelly came at him. I can't remember the song, but it was a verse. That's also back when diss records weren't necessarily a whole record. Sometimes I'll do a verse, like when Luda went at T.I. and Luda was on Young Buck's track, and then went at T.I.
Yes.
That was that one was pretty serious. I might even Google the bars on that one.
He knocked him out. He knocked him out. He knocked him out his shoes.
Yeah, stomp. It was stomp.
Yeah, knocked him out his shoes. Did not know he had it in him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you need those regional beefs as well. And I think that's the stuff where we're probably missing a little bit of that now. It's just Live Nation act going at another Live Nation act. Where's the dude that's still playing nightclubs in Savannah, Georgia on a Tuesday night? Because he's going, like C Murder with Pastor Troy, he's going to show up to where you are.
The only reason these cats wind up having beef, and I think it's because of the nature, the way the game goes, is it's over these girls. And that's what makes the Kendrick part also, is that he's not doing this off of pillow talk.
It's oh yeah, here we go.
Which one are you looking at?
T.I. to Ludacris. T.I. to Ludacris on Stomp. Real people see the difference between you and this. Me getting beat down, that's Ludacris.
Yeah, that's how he thought it just gonna have a little something.
Nobody's thinking about, this is Luda to T.I. Same song. That's the other thing. Artists would just give the song back to the other art. Young Buck had to go back to Luda. T.I. talking about you. You want to redo your verse? All right, come on back in the studio.
Yeah, let me let you hear what we got so far.
Nobody's thinking about you, plus your beef ain't legit, so please stay off the TIP of my. That's an underrated beef.
He said his fish tank costs more than his house.
It's one of those things where at no point did Luda cross the line and go, hey man, you probably cheat on your wife a lot because as a child you felt feelings of abandonment, so you seek to fill that hole with women and you don't realize that that's never going to help you. Like, when you get that psychological on people, I just think it's another level, and that's real hate. Like, I almost feel like these older beefs, pretty much every beef we've talked about has been squashed. I don't think there's ever a day where Kendrick and Drake come out at the Soul Train Awards in 20 years and do some damn song together.
You can turn $10 into $1,000 with playoff basketball and hockey entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Prize Picks is really simple to play, and you can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.